Welcome, everybody, to Swollapalooza Thursday. I'm Steve Ivy, your host, and we've got a fun show planned today. I'm hoping some people watch live. I know people have been watching a lot of the replays, but I'm competing with the Broncos tonight, and I knew I'd be competing with Thursday night football and eventually the Broncos, and that's okay. I'm sticking with my Thursday night show, and we're going to keep doing it throughout the basketball season at some point. Thursday night football ends. Anyway, I've got a really fun show planned. We'll do some CSU basketball related stuff. We'll catch up a little bit with what's going on with Isaiah Stevens. We'll do a little bit of a CSU Nevada preview. And then here we go. Aaron's out there. Here we go. Let's freaking go. Aaron, half of the content is as a result of an idea Aaron shared on X this week, where he was talking about what's your Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies, and I'm doing mine, and I expect people to feed theirs in as well. Make your comments. You can argue with me. You can give me your top ones. You can say, "My God, Steve, that's silly." I think I've got a pretty good list, but we'll get into it. It's been in a little bit. It's been a fun week. I've had some of the shows have been really, really good. My show with Brady on Monday morning with Coach Medved. We did a 20-minute interview with Coach Medved, and he got us caught up with what the team was 5-5 at the time, coming off a tough loss at VCU. And I would encourage people to go back and listen on YouTube. Go back and find that video we did on Monday, because Nico is as good as it gets when it comes to being open, honest, and genuine in terms of describing his team, and he can talk about the good things and the challenges. And it was a great interview, and we saw a good result on Tuesday, and hopefully bigger and better things as we move on. Tuesday, I did my final score show, the post game show after the game with Radford. And it was a fun show because the team had played well, and we got a lot of people involved. I'm starting to see, since I've expanded to X, we're starting to get to triple figures for my post game CSU post game shows, and it's a lot of fun with the interactive. So thank you all for participating. It's really keeping my spirits up over the holidays. I love Christmas anyway, but it's shaping up to be a great Christmas. And then last night I did a show with my friend Tom Moser, who does his podcast that covers the Mountain West basketball. We do a show at least once a week called Tonight in the Mountain West, Tonight in the MWC, actually. And we do a post-game breakdown of a particular game, and we chose the New Mexico VCU game. And we got a great game to cover, and we got a great audience yesterday. New Mexico fans are really, really good. And in our live audience, we cracked the 500 barrier. We had over 500 people watching us break down the game live, and that was actually that was thrilling to me that we're reaching that many people. Both Tom and I are followed pretty well on X, but you never know how many people are going to tune in and how many people are going to watch. And we had over 500. And just to put that in perspective, you go, well, that doesn't sound like that much. There's a bunch of guys that do this for a living and make all their money at it, and they do a live show at night called Field of 68, and it's Jeff Goodman and Rob Doster and a few others that they bring in, and they did a live show last night. I forget which game they were talking about, and they had a little over 6,000 people, 10 times as many as Tom and I did. I think that's pretty darn good for us. So I'm ecstatic. I told Tom at some point, we're gonna start getting 1,000 people, and the live chat's going to be out of control. I checked the views on the video. Tom and I put it out on both of our sites, and we are approaching people looking at the video. I can't tell you how many minutes they watched it, but we are looking at somewhere around 4,500 people to 5,000 people have viewed the videos. So I'm excited about what's going on with this channel. It's been a lot of fun, and you people that are out there right now, thank you all for your support. Tonight, obviously, we'll have some fun. I had tried to get a guest for tonight. I had hoped to get Keyshawn Williams, who's been lighting it up for coming off the bench for the Rams. 14 points against VCU and 16 points the other night against Radford, turning into a really, really reliable, lethal scoring guard coming off the bench. And unfortunately, he was busy. His birthday was yesterday, and today they had 2 practices, and they're flying to Reno. So we'll get Keyshawn on at some point. He's cool. He'll do it. But at some point down the road. Anyway, it's just going to be me. We'll have some fun. Let's catch up with Zay. I want to do before I do, let me add to the stage. He's not here right now. So anyway, we'll keep the fireplace up. Just to get into the Christmas spirit. Stockings are hung. They've been hung for a while. Christmas tree is over. You can't quite see it. All kinds of nutcrackers and gnomes and you name it, we've got it. My wife loves to collect these things. I'm sure your families do too. Anyway, let's catch up with Zay. I want to show some video from today before I start the video. He is leading the G League in assists at nearly 11 assists a game. He's averaging about 14 points a game, playing for the Sioux Falls Skyforce. As you probably know if you follow me on X or if you saw the video with Zay a few Mondays ago, doing really, really well. The G League does something called the Winter Showcase, where all 31 teams play basically to get into a tournament that's held in Orlando, and they take the top 8 teams, the top records, and the Sioux Falls Skyforce for the first time, Zay's team qualified for the tournament, the Winter Showcase. It's in Orlando, Florida, and they played their first game today, and it was kind of fun because they were trailing. These are all the top teams in the G League, the top 8, and they were trailing by, they were up at half, and the next thing you know, they didn't have a very good third quarter, and they were down by 7 going into the fourth quarter. And Zay had a really good fourth quarter, 9 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 4 for 4, and they went from a 7-point deficit to a 4-point win, so they advanced to the semifinals. And just a little. Let me turn the sound down so you can hear me a little better. You can watch some of the highlights. He's playing with a couple of really talented players. One is Keyshawn Johnson, who played with there's Zay hitting a 3 from the corner. Keyshawn is a 2-way player, played at San Diego State and then his last year at Arizona. But here's Zay going into the lane. There's a pass to, I think, Josh Christopher. Josh Christopher is a former first-round draft pick from Arizona State, played 1 year at Arizona State. Is I think the same year as Zay, but he's toiled in the NBA and now in the G League. Zay hitting a little floater. This is Zay passing to I think that's their big man. I think that's Keyshawn. Zay going to the basket with an N1. He can score. He can score. Anyway, that's his highlights. We don't need to watch any more of him. He had an unbelievable game. They're in the semifinals, and I wanted to let me see if I can bring up this one thing. Let me share this tab because this is really interesting. This is a guy who purports himself as an NBA insider. I don't know if he's quite an NBA insider. He doesn't have many more followers than I do, and I wouldn't consider myself a real insider. Anyway, he talked at the G League Showcase in Orlando. It kicks off today. Sioux Falls Skyforce point guard Isaiah Stevens is a player several teams are expected to monitor. He's averaging 13.9, 3.6 rebounds, and 10.9 assists. I know how dedicated Zay is to he loves the Miami Heat, but he does not have an NBA contract, whether it's a one of the 15 that they give out, or they have three-way contracts to build the rosters to 18. It's expected that the Miami Heat will have room to put him on a two-way contract. They just traded somebody out of the organization, Thomas Bryant. And so Zay is looking at probably a two-way sometime in the near future, but don't be surprised if it gets threatened or maybe even forced, if they're forced to do it pretty quickly, just because Zay is doing so well. I am so happy for him. I got a wonderful note from his mom and thanking me for all the great stuff I do. And I just fired back. I'm just really blessed that I've gotten to know Zay and his family in these 5 years at CSU. They're a great family. I miss them in Moby. One of the joys of the CSU basketball program, as you've heard me say, is that it really is a family. It's not just team together. It's a family as well. And the Stevens, I miss the Stevens right now. And I told Pat that, and I made sure I wish them a Merry Christmas. But they're doing very, very well. And that's we're caught up with Zay right now. Before I get into the Nevada preview, let's do a little bit of, let's start getting into the Mount Rushmore. There's so many Christmas movies, and of course Mount Rushmore can only have 4. My wife said you need to pick 5, and I said I can only have 4, and so I had to be pretty tough on this, and so a lot of people. There are so many people. There's 2 movies that people really, really love that I'm not a huge fan of, and they didn't make the list. And I wanted to give an honorable mention to one. I want to give an honorable mention to Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. I wouldn't call it a perfect Christmas movie, but it takes place over Christmas. And so in that sense, it is a Christmas movie. But I would argue that Rocky is more of a love story than Die Hard is a Christmas story. So anyway, an honorable mention for sure. You can let me know if you would live and die with Die Hard being in your Mount Rushmore. Certainly isn't in mine. Then the other one I wanted to mention, in deference to my good friend Jeff Grammer of the Albuquerque newspaper, top beat writer, tied for first with Kevin Lytle as the top beat writer for Mountain West basketball. And Jeff's favorite movie is La Bamba. And I tried to get Jeff to send me a note as to why, I said La Bamba, and my wife started laughing, La Bamba has nothing to do with Christmas. And I said, you don't know Jeff Grammer. Jeff could probably figure out a way to make it appear to be a Christmas movie. So anyway, I wanted to give that an honorable mention. We'll get into the top 4 in a few minutes after I get through with my preview. We have 31 people watching. I hope the Broncos are still pasting the Chargers. Anyway, let's talk about Nevada. CSU finished the non-con schedule at 6-5, and now they moved to the conference schedule. 20 conference games, and it opens on Saturday. And let's look at Nevada. They are 8-3. They have several good wins. They've beaten Washington and VCU, 2 teams that have beaten CSU. So on paper, they look like the better team, but they went through a little bit of a stretch where they lost to a weak stretch where they lost to Washington State at home and really weren't in the game. They lost by 11, but it wasn't that close. And then the next game, inexplicably went on the road and lost to Loyola Marymount. That was just a few days after CSU had beaten Loyola Marymount by 29 points. Loyola Marymount went home. Nevada did not handle the road very well, and they lost by 4. And that's them in a nutshell. 8-3. They're a good team. I don't want to say they're not a good team, because they certainly are a very, very good team. The one thing I will point to, if you look in terms of D1 experience, they are 7th in the country in D1 experience at 3.08 years. CSU is not a young team, but CSU has a mix of 4th and 5th year players, along with first and second year players, and they're definitely younger than Nevada. Nevada is also a very big, tall team. They start a very big starting lineup, fifth biggest team in the country, very similar to CU in terms of their size. Kobe Sanders, 6'9", considered he plays kind of a point guard, good player. Transfer from Cal Poly, fifth-year player. Nick Davidson, an all-conference performer last year, 6'10", big. Trey Coleman, a really good defensive player who's rounded out his game. Xavier Dussel, a great three-point shooter, started his career at Wyoming, and then moved on to Fresno State, and now is spending his last year at Nevada. Tyler Rollison, a really good young player, 6-foot sophomore. And then Brandon Love, who starts most games, plays about half the minutes, but a 6'10" forward. So they start 6'5", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10", 6'10", very big lineup. But the thing that separates them, and the thing I want to talk about, is they're a very good shooting team, and especially on the three-point area. They average they're fifth in the country in three-point shooting, making about 42%. That is a very, very strong number, and as a result, they are very, very efficient. Their offense is top 40 in the country, and so they're a good team, and they will give CSU problems. I just want to point to a couple of things, and if you look at the two most recent losses, Washington State and Loyola Marymount, they shot poorly from three in those two games. Every other game, they're shooting 40, 50%. They shot 20% against Washington State, 25% against Loyola Marymount. And I was shocked that they shot so poorly against Loyola Marymount, given that CSU absolutely torched them from three-point land. If Nevada's such a good shooting team, it's just a shock. CSU shot 15 for 35 and probably missed their last five. So, and if you look at how Washington State shot against them, they shot 41%, 12 for 29. And Loyola Marymount shot 11 for 31. They didn't shoot anywhere near that against CSU. So I think this game, it'll come down to CSU figuring out a way to do a little bit of scoring in the paint. They did really well against Radford in terms of getting the ball in the paint, a healthy Rashawn Mbemba. But ultimately, the three-point line is going to decide it, I think. And to be honest with you, this will be a tough matchup for CSU in Nevada. Traditionally, CSU does not play real well in Nevada. So, but we'll look for them, CSU, to play well, and then they'll have Christmas off, and then come home to New Mexico. They're going to get fast and furious into the Mountain West Conference schedule. It's exciting that it's opening up. The conference will be good this year. It will not be a 6-bid league. Will probably be about a 3-bid league. Nevada is ahead of CSU. They are, in terms of net ranking, in terms of KenPom ranking, in terms of any of the metrics, Nevada would be considered kind of close to being an at-large team right now. They have a chance, and if they play well in conference, CSU is going to have to play awfully well in conference to earn any kind of at-large bid. It's probably more likely to come down to the tournament. I don't want to rule them out in conference. You never know. I have a lot of respect for what Coach Medved and his staff do, but I think it's gonna be a little uphill for the Rams this year as they enter conference. Anyway, that's the Nevada preview. It's time to get into what we really are here for. Let's get this out of here. Let's get into the holiday movies and my Mount Rushmore. Okay. And I did a poll to make sure that this first one is considered a holiday movie. I put something up on X, and A Charlie Brown Christmas is my number 4 on my list. And I'm gonna risk copyright infringement on YouTube by playing clips. This is a scene that is near and dear to my heart. This is a movie that it was put out in the mid '60s, basically on television, and it was basically a half hour done on a budget of about $75,000 or $80,000. The network put it out. Coke sponsored it, and it was quite a. I remember it when I was a kid, and it was something everybody watched. I did a little research on it. It turns out it didn't win its time slot. It went in on Sunday night and lost to Bonanza, which, of course, if you grew up back then, anybody who's old would remember Bonanza. Anyway, let's take a look at the clip. It's about Charlie Brown being sad and trying to understand why no one knows about Christmas.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
Aaron said it made the Elite Eight in his work bracket. It's my top 4. I just think that's a fantastic scene. And why is that playing? Oh, sorry. Let me turn that off. Stop sharing. I'm sorry, a little technical difficulty there. There we go. Anyway, let's just say it was a fun movie for me. And that scene, just a couple of things about that scene. Linus was never seen not carrying a blanket, and there's a point where he says "Fear not," and he drops his blanket. It's kind of a spiritual moment in the Peanuts characters. And the other thing was it's quoting the Bible. And even back in the 60s, when that was made, it was not a popular thing to do. And the guys who were running the network told Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, that they were concerned and they wanted to take that out. They said it wasn't appropriate. And he looked up and he said, if we don't do it, who will? It was very, very important to him. So anyway, that's my my number 4. Aaron, I'm glad it made your Elite Eight. Let's move on to number 3. Miracle on 34th Street, the original, not the remake. I never saw the remake. My wife took my daughter to see the remake. She said it was kind of okay. But Miracle on 34th Street was made in 1947, was basically a movie about people who didn't believe in Santa Claus, and somebody shows up who claims to be Santa Claus. And of course, he goes to work at Macy's and starts doing things that are very out of character for what a retailer would do in Manhattan. And finally, people kind of believe that he goes by the name of Kris Kringle, that he really is Santa Claus. But I've got a scene I want to show from that movie. Let's pull it up here. Give me a second. Oops, not there. Sometimes I click on the wrong button. I apologize. We'll have it here in a second. Here it comes. This is the ending scene, starring none other than, this is the young Natalie Wood.
Stop, Uncle Fred! Stop! Stop! Susie! Susie! Susie, where are you going?
What is she doing? Susie!
Susie! Susie!
Susie, where are you?
I'm upstairs.
Calm right down. You know you shouldn't run around in other people's houses. You know better than that.
But this is my house, Mommy. The one I asked Mr.
Now,
Kringle for.
Susie.
It is. I know it is. My room upstairs is just like I knew it would be. Oh, you were right, Mommy. Mommy told me if things don't turn out just the way you want them to the first time, you still got to believe. And I kept believing, and you were right, Mommy. Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Where you going?
To see if there's a swing. There is one. There is one.
You told her that. The sign outside said it's for sale. We can't let her down.
I never really doubted you. It was just my silly common sense.
It even makes sense to believe in me now. I must be a pretty good lawyer. I'd take a little old man and legally prove to the world that he's Santa Claus. Now, you know that.
Oh, no, it can't be. It must have been left here by the people that moved out.
Maybe. Maybe I didn't do such a wonderful thing after all.
And there it is, Miracle on 34th Street. Just a couple of facts about Miracle on 34th Street. It was the only one of the movies that I picked, and it's the only Christmas movie I'm aware of that was nominated for Academy Award for Best Picture. It didn't win, but it was nominated in 1947 for Best Picture. And the guy who played Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, he won an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor. So pretty cool movie, and definitely number 3 on my list. So I don't see anybody commenting on that. I had Aaron talking about Charlie Brown Christmas being his Elite 8. I hope Miracle on 34th Street made it at least into your Elite 8. Let's do number 2. And I had to choose something a little newer. It's something that's a very, very popular movie. And I can't deny its popularity. Home Alone, made in I think 1990, and it's from what I can figure out, it's the number 1 grossing Christmas movie of all time. Did almost $500 million. It was the number 2 grossing movie in 1990. Let's see. It didn't do as well. Miracle on 34th Street didn't do as well. That's too bad. Natalie Wood was like the most beautiful woman as an adult and died tragically drowned in a boating accident and fell off a boat. And as a young actress, she was just absolutely beautiful. So not just that, but I thought that was just a great movie. Home Alone, though, getting into Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, another child actor like Natalie Wood, making his start, and the other thing, I'm gonna bring something up here. I didn't know this. Well done with Home Alone. I'm throwing out a question for anybody out there. Doing a little research on Macaulay Culkin, his aunt in real life was Bonnie Bedelia, the actress Bonnie Bedelia. Now, if you can tell me what Bonnie Bedelia has to do, if she has any ties to any Christmas movie, and maybe even a movie I mentioned, if you can tell me, you might, maybe I'll have to figure out a way to get you a Monday morning cup of coffee, original coffee mug. But anyway, there you go. Aaron knows. Look at this. Aaron, I owe you a coffee mug. Bonnie Bedelia played Bruce Willis's estranged wife in Die Hard. Great actress, but I didn't know she was I knew she was in Die Hard. I didn't know she was Macaulay Culkin's aunt. So in real life, so I thought that was pretty cool. Aaron, I owe you a coffee mug, man. That's good. Well, let me show one of my favorite scenes from Home Alone. I didn't want to show the ending scene. I wanted to show another one that I think is kind of a special scene. So let's let's get this one started.
Merry Christmas.
Anyway, Home Alone. I just love that scene. I'm sorry. I love "Oh Holy Night." I think that's just a beautiful song, and I just think you have the interesting relationship of Macaulay Culkin with what's his name? I forget the character's name, but where there's a lot of fear, and then all of a sudden they become they, the spirit of Christmas comes across very strongly. So, Home Alone #2. Let's go to #1. And if this isn't #1 on your list, I'm sorry. This is the greatest Christmas movie ever made. It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart. Just an incredible story about a man who leads a nice life, saves his younger brother when he's a little kid, is all set to take over, leave and travel the world with his wife, and his dad dies. He has to take over a savings and loan association. He's stuck at home. He had all these life plans, and they all went away. And then there was a thing that happened where money disappears, and his bank is going to go under, and he's going to go to jail. And he starts panicking, and he realizes, he starts thinking, I wish I were dead. And an angel comes down from heaven to show him what his life would be had he died, and to show him all the different things that would have happened and not happened had he not lived. And anyway, in the end, he realizes that he really wants to he really wants to live. And there's an angel named Clarence who basically rescues him. And I want to just show the final scene. This is the movie that plays in my house on Christmas morning. I get up and make the bacon and eggs and all the other stuff. And this movie goes on, and we watch it together. But anyway, this to me is Christmas.
guess I could. The fool flew all the way up here in a blizzard.
Oh, Harry, how about your banquet in New York?
Oh, I left right in the middle of it. As soon as I got Mary's telegram. Good idea, Ernie. A toast. To my big brother, George, the richest man in town.
That's a Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right.
Attaboy, Clyde.
And there it is. That's my list. That's my my Mount Rushmore. Remember, number 4, Charlie Brown Christmas. Number 3, Miracle on 34th Street. Number 2, Home Alone. Number 1, It's a Wonderful Life. If you've got anything you want to add, anything you think I missed, I see there's 63 people out there. If there's anything you think I missed, a lot of people like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's okay. But I can understand why people do. There's some funny scenes in it, but that's my 4. And like I said, Die Hard with an honorable mention, only because it's kind of a fun movie. So anyway, that's it. Before I go, I just want to share with you some of the things coming up. Some coming up in the next few days. Tomorrow, nothing going on. I've been busy. I went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday so far this week. Friday off. Saturday, I will be covering. I'll be doing a post-game stream, final score of the CSU versus at Nevada game. The game is being played in the afternoon. I can't remember exactly what time, but I will come on probably about 15 minutes after game time. I want to say it starts at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, but I could be wrong on that. If it starts at 3, game will be over about 5-ish. I will be on about 5:15. Oh, here we go. Let's let me get rid of this banner here. Got a comment. Violent Night. I don't know. Not for me. Anyway, I'll do a show on Saturday afternoon after the Nevada game, post game. We'll keep our fingers crossed that the Rams play well, win or lose. We'll go ahead and do it, and we'll break down the game. Plan on joining me, and we'll have some fun doing that. And then I think Sunday I'm going to do another stream with Tom. Tonight in the Mountain West, I think we're going to do the Utah State at St. Mary's game. It looks to be a very, very big game for Utah State's resume, as they lost a tough home game, lost their first game of the year against UC San Diego, who gave San Diego State a good game. They're a good team, and lo and behold, Utah State needs to get back on track. They play that game, and then their first 2. Then they go into the Mountain West schedule, and their first 2 Mountain West games, I want to say, are at Nevada and at San Diego State or something like. They have 2 really, really tough games to open, so they're going to be looking to win at least one of the next 3, and all 3 of them are on the road against maybe 3 of the 5 best teams that they're going to play all year. So we'll see what happens there. But Tom and I will go on after that game. I don't know what time yet. I'll have to check on that. Monday, I will not be doing my Monday morning cup of coffee show. Brady is off next week, and I do not want to do a show without him. But I will do. I think I'm going to do put together something just a show on Monday morning that'll be a best of, and I'm going to try and pull the best parts of the interviews I've done on Monday morning. I'm really proud of some of the stuff we've done and some of the people we've had. I've had Nico. I've had a couple of assistant coaches, Ken DeWeese and Brian Cooley. We've had some of the players, Jalen Crocker Johnson, Kyle Jorgensen, Nick Clifford, and we've had Isaiah Stevens. So we've had, we'll put together maybe a half-hour best of show. And then we go to Christmas. And then next Thursday, I am going to promise you one of the absolute best shows you're ever going to see on YouTube. I'll give you a little preview of it right now. It's going to be focused on a New Mexico versus CSU, which is going to be played on Saturday the 28th, the same day as the Snoop Dogg Bowl in Tucson. I won't be going to that. Oh, here we go. What's this? Sorry, I'm late. What's up with the NFL stepping on top of the CSU bowl game by moving Broncos to conflicting time and day? Also looking forward to Rams men basketball conference games. Integrity Matters. Thanks for chipping in. I am really looking forward to the conference games. I think they're going to be some really, really good battles. And CSU opens with two really tough ones. And like I said, next Thursday, I'm going to do a preview of the UNM CSU game, but I'm going to be doing it with players and live players and live current players. There are two kids that play, one for New Mexico and one for Colorado State, that were high school teammates and very, very close friends. CJ Nolan for the University of New Mexico and Jalen Lake for CSU. Now, I've had Jalen on my Swollapalooza show about a month ago. Great guest. We had a lot of fun. But CJ, and I've been dying to get Jalen and CJ on together because they are such good friends. And this is the first time they're going to play against each other. CJ just transferred to New Mexico this season, and he's a really, really good kid, really, really good player. He starts for New Mexico. Jalen obviously starts for CSU, but they're high school teammates. They played at Waxahachie, Texas, for one of the top teams in the state of Texas. Not very often you get two high-level D1 recruits on the same high school team, but they're also very, very good friends. And so I'm looking forward to getting them on just to talk about their, not so much to talk about the game, but to talk about growing up together and what it was like and what it's like now and how much and what it's going to be like playing against each other as opposed to playing alongside each other. The other thing that I'm going to promise is there will be a surprise as part of that show. I want to do, instead of asking CJ to do a scouting report on Jalen, I don't want him to reveal any of the New Mexico plans. And instead of Jalen doing a scouting report on CJ, because, we don't want him to know what CSU might be thinking. I have somebody to come in to do a scouting report on both of them. And I've got a lot of ties. I got people that know them. And whether they coached him or whatever, CJ, before he went to New Mexico, played for Ross Hodge at University of North Texas. Now, Ross was an assistant here along with Nico. And there's also another coach at North Texas named Jace Hurl, who was an assistant here at CSU. Both of them worked under Eustace. Ross left to go to North Texas after 2015 or 16, after 16, I think. And Jace came, and Jace was here for the last Eustace season. And Jace is the coach that won. He was the last coach to win a game before Nico after Eustace got dismissed by Joe Parker. Jace came in and he coached the team, and they won a game under Jace, and they're great guys. Who knows? Maybe I'll be referring to them and talking to them to get scouting reports. Maybe there is a coach from New Mexico who, while he's a little biased toward New Mexico, has coached both Jalen CJ, Aaron Katsuma. A lot of you guys know Aaron Katsuma. Aaron went to New Mexico last season and is an integral part of the Lobo program now after spending several years with Nico at CSU. Aaron was here when Jalen played his first 2 years. Aaron is there for CJ's first year at New Mexico. So who knows? Anyway, I will bring in a mystery person, and we're going to do a fun scouting report on him, and it should be a great show. And I'm also trying to get Jeff Grammer to come in. I don't know if Jeff's going to be able to do it, but we'll see if Jeff can pop in to help us with a little bit of the preview as well. But I promise you, next Thursday night will be an absolute great show. In the words of Kevin Lytle, Liddy. I guarantee you it's going to be Liddy. So anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for watching. I see there's 64 out of you avoiding the Bronco game and that have joined in with me. Thanks again. Thanks for all the support. We're going to keep this thing going, keep building this thing, and I'll see you hopefully Saturday afternoon for the final score, the post game show of CSU at Nevada. Anyway, have a great evening. If I don't catch you again, Merry Christmas to all of you. It's a wonderful time of year. Peace on earth, goodwill toward men. I love all of you. Go Rams.